Sup lunatics, I'm Moon Spirit, and let me tell you something. Ever since I played Hades last year, I've been binging roguelikes and I can't stop. Seriously, send help! I can't explain it in great detail, but I guess I'm intrigued that these games technically give me new playthroughs that feel fresh and new. And if you die, it encourages you to try again and again. But you want to scratch that one more time itch a lot until you start peeling your skin. Sorry about the imagery. Whether you get new weapons, tons of buffs or debuffs, or a story that gives you enough investment to continue, I always get excited to play again. So, I want to try something a little different for this video. Instead of talking about one particular game, I want to highlight some games that I played. And if you know any of these games, cool! Drop a comment and tell us about your experiences. But if you don't know any of them, I hope I can persuade you to try it. So, let's start this roundup, shall we? Here's the newest kid on the roguelike block, and it's surprisingly good. Unlike most games of this genre where you play a hero on a big adventure, you are Jackie, a marketing intern for a beverage company called Fizzle, for a conglomerate company called Cubicle. And what do you do on your first day? Fighting off goblins in the basement. I'm sorry, what? Because you're an unpaid intern, and the boss thinks you're up to the task because her resume says so. But how does fighting monsters help her? His answer is unclear. In fact, he'll touch base with that later. For now, Jackie must yield great results for Fizzle. Yeah, expect some obviously on this one, so let's drill down this game. Or unpeel this onion. In this roguelike, you gotta fight with anything you can get your hands on. Basically, Jackie Channing it up. In short, you gotta do some blue sky thinking when dealing with enemies. There are typical swords and spears, but you can also chug potted plants or wield office supplies. However, all weapons will break over time, so you can't go piggybacking on just the one weapon. You're expected to be flexible. You can also find apps and fizzle drinks to help you in a bind. And the dungeons you raid, there are other startup companies that went under financially. Ah, I see what you did there, Aggro Crab. The first is a freelance company that was meant to post jobs for anything. A cryptocurrency mineshaft ruled by a skelly boy with a lot of drip. And a Tinter-inspired brothel with imps armed with body pills and physical low-bearing fruit. Really on the nose there. As you can see, the presentation has a clean yet corporate aesthetic to it. Characters have that round yet easy to grasp look, like the ones you see in a Kroger or Grubhub commercial. But did I forget to mention that this game satirizes workplace culture? You'll hear things about overworking, overspending, and trying to be a good company when everyone doesn't have a high-level view. I also love the colleagues you meet because they are exactly who you expect in an office space. You have the cynical techie, an accountant who constantly worries about how much money is superfluously spent, and a dude who speaks like he's texting you. And I can't forget the best one, the doggo! They eventually become your mentor and they give you synergy to make your next run different, including the CEO himself, who looks awfully like Aaron Hansen. I won't keep drilling down on this game, and I suggest you play this if you love workplace satire. And once you finish the main dungeons and enter the fourth area, this 90s graphics design void space, and being that, the game finally shows its true colors. I must admit that this game is surprisingly charming with what it's presenting. Wait, I just realized that Going Under has a double meaning to its title. Here's another one that came out this year, and I have to say it's a solid hack and slash, or shoot and whip, or shank and impale. However you choose. Anyway, Curse of the Dead Gods is exactly what your adventurer has to deal with. Curses of the ancient Aztec gods. The main gimmick here is, of course, getting cursed. But how much you get cursed depends on how you want to play. Do you gamble to get more curse, or choose to play safe? It's up to you, but getting cursed does give you some perks, depending on what you're cursed with and how well you play. You can get a curse that makes explosive barrels make bigger explosions, or more gold, but they disappear faster if not collected fast enough. Whatever you are cursed with is random, but take care as not to get cursed 5 times, or you get the ultimate curse. Have your life leashed away till you have 1 HP left. But why get cursed to begin with? Well, getting cursed gets you better weapons and relics at the end of some stages, depending on what you choose. Do you want to get more cursed for the best weapon, or get a lesser relic to get not cursed as much? How you toil against the Aztec gods is on you. But you are definitely not on a predetermined path, as you can choose how you want to traverse through the dungeons. You can go on a rush for gold, or upgrade your weapon, or get a new one. Once you finish that level, you can choose where to diverge. All paths lead to the bosses, and defeating them rewards you with crystal skulls and jade rings. Although there are only 3 dungeons, there are 3 total bosses in each of them, but you have to defeat the first boss to unlock the later bosses. And best of luck, because the dungeons will get tougher and more treacherous. Basically, you must confront 3 bosses in each of the dungeons to complete your journey. Thankfully, the crystal skulls can give you blessings, better starting weaponry, and favors to refresh for a different set of weapons or relics in their shrines. The jade rings can give you access to newer weapons that can be accessed or banned if you choose. Pay tribute to the gods so your dungeon crawls are in your favor. Wait. Oh! I forgot to talk about what you joined to play! Duh! As I stated earlier, your weapons are whatever you can get your hands on. Swords, whips, guns, throwing weapons, spears, you name it, he can wield it. So along with your weapon, you also have a torch because these Aztec abominations are not a fan of the light. Casting light in their vicinity makes them more vulnerable to your attacks, so light the braziers and torches as they wince at the light. But if there aren't any, you can torch them too. But even if you cast light on the situation, they are still capable of wrecking your shit if you're not careful. Luckily, you have 2 defensive options to get around them: dodging and parrying. Dodging is what you'll do a lot of, but your stamina makes it so you can't spam it, so don't be rolling like a tumbleweed in a drying machine. Parrying takes some practice, as timing it right will leave your enemies weakened a bit and replenish some stamina, making them easier to defeat. But don't get too cocky, because these creatures will crush you if you aren't precise, and if you want to venture further, keep your light on, weapons ready, and be prepared to fight. I can't recommend this game enough. It may have a simple, adventurous plot, but don't fret about the ending. It's the journey that you make along the way makes it all worth fighting for. It may get a bit hard, but what kind of adventure would that be if it weren't, right? Hades, no, not that Hades, is offering you a job to take down the Titans group. And just like that, you are equipped with nothing but a gun to shoot anything that moves, including the various gods in this realm. But the bosses, however, are gods of various kinds, like a cackle demon that shoots pills, an entity made of computer screens, and this one named Tick. Gee, wonder what that one references. And eventually, you'll contend with bigger gods like Zeus, in either Athena or Ares. But what you face along the way, it's mostly these one-eyed freaks and other demonic beings, and I find them to be on the generic side. However, this game has been constantly updated with new bosses and guns. Speaking of guns, this is a hybrid of a running gun, platform, and twin-stick shooter. Along the way, you will be gathering a plethora of upgrades for your gun. In fact, you can upgrade your weapon stats efficiently if you play your cards right, and your weapon can be upgraded so much you might as well play blindfolded. Don't actually ask me to do that. I ain't to that kind of kink. A unique feature here are these eggs you pick up, and they hatch helpers of many kinds, like giving cover fire or give shields. How you approach the game will put you on the path of violence or wisdom, as the game depicts. That is by using these crystals to unlock special purple doors, or totems, I think, but can also be used for some specials. But shooting these crystals will make them hurtful, and taking damage from them will put you on the path of violence. Honestly, I didn't really understand it initially and thought nothing of it for hours. So if you want to truly progress in this game, online help is needed. But what can be playing exactly? Gems from the gods you slain. These gems can unlock treasure rooms, minigame rooms, more characters, and more upgrades. One of these new rooms do give variety. Some are alright, as I personally prefer the crane game, only because it's quicker and easier, but to me, to get the upgrades I want. Like I said, play your cards right, you can potentially OP yourself. And once that happens, I'm not motivated to play anymore if it becomes that easy. But like I said, this game is constantly updated, getting more bosses, and you'll eventually face Hades himself apparently. It is a little too easy to exploit weapon upgrades, but I say this game is worth a dive into this abyss. It's not the best side, but it's worth a try. Guns! 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 The gun is good. The gun is great. The gun is the way of life. But wouldn't it be weird if there was a world that was based off guns? Well, there is, as you enter the Gungeon. This game This game really kicks my ass. I wouldn't say I'm not a particular fan of bullet hells, as I have had some experiences with the genre like Gigawing and Ikaruga, but this one is a whole different ball game. Sure, you can dodge roll, flip tables for cover, and negate the hellfire with blanks, but I still get Swiss cheesed by all these bullet-themed baddies. And it can get chaotic when you are surrounded by nothing but crimson balls of death. But despite all my rage, I am not a rat in a cage, because every gun you earn is worth it. It's like opening a new toy every time you get one. You'll get standards like shotguns and rifles, and maybe some cool sci-fi weapons, but it's much cooler to wield a proton pack, a Stinger missile launcher that shoots missiles and bees. You guys get it? Because it's an actual Stinger missile launcher, like the actual missile launcher that actually shoots the bees, that actually stings with the bees, you know? Get it? Yeah, you got it. Or something amusing like a Super Soaker from my childhood. And it's charming just to explore dungeons where everyone is artillery inspired. From sentient bullets that carry guns to mages with bullet hell attacks, it's amazing the imagination dodge roll created. You gotta love the names of the bosses with gun puns like the Gorgon or the Beholster. Besides each of the playable characters having different attributes, the characters you meet along the way can help you, like the many shopkeepers inside and outside the Gungeon. Some also give you special items or bonuses if you help them or buy new stuff with the creds. But finding who you want to meet and what you need from them is just as random as this game. And you better hope you get dealt with a good arsenal and be fast with a dodge roll and bullet negation. And I gotta tell you, after 50 tries, I finally beat it! I beat the 5th boss and got to the end, but it's truly not over. To finish it for real, you gotta find components of a special bullet to a gun that can kill the boss. Oh yeah, I forgot there was a story to this, but you forget all that when all you're doing is your damnedest to survive. Regardless of all that, I still highly recommend this game if you're up for a good challenge. Plus the soundtrack fucking slaps! The intro song is more than enough to tell you what you're in for. You are a miner who must work in the Undermine and figure out what lies below and beyond. But who you are is of no significance, as nobody seems to care. And if you die, the next miner takes over and the Archmage / your boss doesn't really acknowledge you and who you have replaced. To him, every miner that comes by is just another peasant who needs to get work done. You're cheap labor, nothing else, so tough shit. You are armed with bombs and a pickaxe as your primary means of offense and mining for gold, and you'll be swinging that pickaxe like Legend of Zelda. But unlike Link, your miner can jump out of harm's way, and that jump can save your ass on many occasions. You can also boomerang that pickaxe, and that is real helpful handling small fry, triggering explosive barrels, or playing it super safe when low on health. There are some NPCs to rescue like the blacksmith and various shopkeepers, all of whom help you in various ways. The blacksmith can upgrade your gear for a price, though it's amusing that your equipment is more befitting for your job description. I mean, your armor isn't like it goes from cloth to iron, or more like flimsy cloth to better cloth to eventually leather. Your gold can also upgrade your bombs to be strong and capable of blowing up special rocks, which will lead you meeting this sleepy boy that can help you skip to the further dungeons once you have the maps. But when mining for gold, you must collect them quickly because these blobs called pilfers will steal your gold nuggets. Luckily they don't hurt you, but they are pests that you'll need to regularly swat away. You also collect these purple stones that can be traded for new relics and potions, as long as you find a schematic. Collecting more relics are of course super helpful as you venture further, because the deeper dungeons have more dangerous enemies. Remember that sleepy boy I mentioned? He can transfer you to the further dungeons, and he gives you a bag of relics to help you get a better head start, although you could do it the long way to get even more. But hey, I say this price of skipping is worth it as long as you have real quality relics, or at least play smart with what you get. There are however chances of getting cursed, like bargaining with this demon for a relic, or praying at an altar for a stat buff for instance that will give you a curse. But if you want to put your faith, pray to remove a curse in exchange for a chunk of your health. Hopefully I did this game justice and sang its praises enough. Trust me when I say this game is worth it. If a game like this can get me this engaged for this long, surely that's a good thing, right? Family means everything, but a family that fights together is stronger together. In Children of Morta, the Bergson family is tasked with saving the world that has now been plagued by the corruption. And to do that, they must summon 3 spirits of their god to locate the source of the corruption in order to save it. And aside from its beautiful pixel art aesthetic, I must admit that I was not expecting such a cinematic experience with this game. It looks and plays like your typical fantasy epic, but the cutscenes presented in-game makes it like an epic. Though the game doesn't play in many locales, the stakes are high here, and I felt compelled to save this world. Hell, this game is the reason why I wanted to start this video. The Bergson family is a proud family of heroes who have been tasked to protect the world for generations, and each family member you control plays differently. Proud patriarch John, for instance, is a strong knight with shield and sword in hand, but his children are nothing to scoff at as they are great practitioners of their art. While I prefer fast attackers like the sons, I'm more partial to John because my name is Jonathan, and his sword shower attack is quite advantageous. Yo! I forgot to mention this game has an RPG system in its combat, and the Bergsons can learn new moves and become more capable of handling the hordes, like John's sword shower as I mentioned. Their Uncle Ben's workshop and Grandma Margaret's Book of Rhea can upgrade the family's attributes and find better loot and extended buffs, respectively. In the end, the family is all but ready to do whatever they can to save the world. The dungeons you track can give you relics at the end of each journey to put the odds in your favor, or you can play a game of chance or Pong. Yes, Dungeon Pong. But other times, you'll encounter NPCs each with varying degrees of cinematics. Whether you help a child reunite with his mother after seeing his family get slaughtered, adopting a wolf cub after saving it, or helping a robot child with his creator father and reunite with its robotic siblings, the stakes in these scenarios are dire. They may not be important to progressing the story, but you feel invested to helping these folks at their time of need. I'm telling you, the storytelling here really emphasizes how calamitous the land is in. And so much happens way past the halfway point, and I do not want to spoil what happens. All I can say is, the fight to save the world is more than a simple good versus evil conflict. Do me a favor and please play this game. It's on physical and digital and should not be overlooked. At least let me leave you with an out-of-context cinematic of what the ending entails. Trust me, I think you'll love this game. And I think I'll end it right here. There's still a lot more roguelikes and roguelites that I've yet to play. So, if you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and share this vid across the web. Would you kindly? Till then, I'm Moon Spirit saying good night.